If you're struggling to believe in yourself, this video is for you and me. It's for us. Let's tackle this together. Welcome back to Growing Isn't Pretty. I'm Nilita, and today is one of those days where I did not want to record. I did not want to record. I was sitting down, I was praying, I was meditating, I was having a moment of honesty with God where I was like, I am feeling low right now, and like I just don't have it in me to give, to show up and be bubbly and happy and amazing, and that's just not how I'm feeling right now. And I was like, God, give me something. And I just heard, get up. And one of my goals last week that I set for myself was F the mood, follow the plan. If you know Layla Hormozy, she talks about this all the time. Forget the mood. She says fuck the mood, but we're going to say forget the mood, follow the plan, which means don't allow your mood to dictate the things that you're doing in your life and the way that you're living your life. There are times where my mood tells me to crawl up into a ball in my bed, don't come out and speak to anyone for about 2 days. And when my depression was really, really bad, I 100% would have done that. I used to stay in bed until 6 p.m. when I didn't have work or uni or anything like that. And yeah, I would just stay in my little depressive bubble, and I would live there for as long as possible before my parents would come upstairs and knock on my door and be like, are you okay? Are you alive? You need to eat. Here's some food. Have some water at least. But now I'm in a space where it's like, let's not allow the mood to dictate how you show up for not just other people, but more importantly for yourself. And today, grab my trusted laptop. Today we are talking about, if you're struggling to believe in yourself, let's fix it together. I've got 3 points here that I want to really go through really quickly. My voice is slowly but surely fading away, so I'm going to sound like I'm whispering today, but hopefully the mic will do me justice and do its job very well, and it will show up and show out for me. Also, my hay fever is playing games with me, so if you hear me quite a lot throughout the video, I'm sorry in advance. I'm sorry. So let's just talk about it. Why is it so hard to believe in yourself? I need you guys to ask yourself this question. I've been asking myself a lot. Why is it so hard to believe in myself? What about me? What about my current actions, my past actions have led me to the point where I'm struggling to believe and trust my opinion of myself, trust the view that I want for myself, to the woman that I want to become? Why am I struggling to believe that I can have good things, and that wanting those good things means that I'm not appreciating the things that I currently have? Why are you struggling to believe in yourself? And I've really had to hone in on this and ask myself this question quite a lot recently, which is like, what's your deal, bro? What's your problem, bro? Why are you being so horrible to yourself? Why are you being so disrespectful to yourself and talking to yourself in such a degrading way? And you've been doing so well, and I'm saying this to you, like, you've been doing so well, you're catching it when you feel it coming up. And you know, if you do something and you would usually fall into the habit of speaking to yourself in a negative way, and you've been more aware of it recently, and you've found recently that you just slipped back into it, like, why are you doubting that you can do better, that you can be better, that you can have more? And for me, this was something that I've really been struggling with recently. And I think for me it was triggered by a friendship of 2 years, 2.5, maybe even 3 now actually, years coming to an end. Someone who was my best friend, my rock, my ride or die. We're no longer riding together, and it feels like I'm having to grieve that friendship, but in a way, because of the ending, it's made me doubt myself, it's made me question myself, it's made me really had to lean on my worth, had to think about who I am as a person, what I want, what I will and won't stand for, my boundaries, and having to practically uphold them when they are really challenged. I'm not talking about like a little, rocking off the boat, with a colleague at work where I get to come home and it's my safe space. I'm talking about like my best friend. How do you uphold boundaries with someone that you love so dearly? and not second guess yourself and doubt your entire existence when things don't go in the way that you want. So I think for me it was just a matter of looking into, like, what does that mean for me? What does that look like? So I want you to ask yourself, why am I doubting myself? Why are you not believing in your abilities? Why are you not believing that you can have more, that you deserve more? What is happening in your life right now that is making you question yourself in that capacity, in that way? And how can you reassure and remind yourself that you are a child of God and that you have strength internally that is stronger than your external trials and tribulations? How can you remind yourself of that? And yeah, like, how can you just really hone in on who you actually are? Do you know what I mean? Because it's easy to forget, but it's the reminder, it's looking back at your accolades and your past experiences that you've overcome that will remind you of how much you can overcome. But we forget those things because we kind of just breeze through life. We're just going about our day and we're moving on and blah blah blah, like, I'm not a good person because of this one experience or whatever else, but that isn't always the case. So I think for me it was just having to remind myself of what that looks like for me. So I guess I would just say, like, try to remind yourself of the same thing as well. So once you've dived into why it is that you're having troubles believing in yourself, I guess the next thing is rewriting that narrative in your mind, right? So rewriting the idea that you aren't good enough, that you don't deserve good things, that it's going to be a struggle for you to accomplish those things, that the person who you are right now isn't the kind of person that wakes up at 5 o'clock in the morning and goes to the gym or goes for a run. She isn't the kind of person that eats very well. She isn't the kind of person that has good money management skills. She isn't the kind of person that has these things that you would like to have. Now that you've identified what it is you're doubting and why you're doubting it, we're going to dive into just completely rewriting that story, because now we know that it's not backed with facts, right? So it's very easy for us to be like, oh, my life sucks, this isn't working out, this isn't going well, I wish this was better. It's easy to slip into those sort of mindsets and conversations, but once we've identified it, now this is where the fun of being a human, the joy of being a human comes in. It's choice. You get to choose who you want to be next, and that could be journaling it out, could be praying, could be meditating, could be visualizing, could be scripting. This could be vision boards, is the most popular one probably for a lot of people. Visualizing and having a visual representation of the person that you'd like to be. I've got one on my board now, which I do actually believe that I might change it to text and text only. I saw someone do that online where she only had she basically only used text as opposed to images, because she was like, sometimes I can't find the image that really encapsulates the person that I want to be, the life that I want to have, the home that I want to create. So it's easier for her to say, have a section that's called home, and then underneath that she writes laminated floors or marble flooring, textured walls, and really gets into details about those things, because she can't find the visuals of what she wants. And sometimes also it's very difficult to be attached to a visual that isn't yours. So I think I'm going to try that, because sometimes I look at my vision board and I'm like, this is great and all, but I don't really connect to it the way that I wanted to. And I think it would be nice to kind of just revamp it with words, because I've got text on it and I think I connect with the text more than I do with the visuals. So that is one thing. Like, there's so many different ways that you can rewrite your story, and this is the best way to start, is by having a visual representation of that, whether it's through text or images, and then diving into a bit more deeper things like journaling out who you are currently and how you can become, the person that you want to be. Like, what's the gap between your health, what's the gap between your finances, what's the gap between your relationships, your career, your aspirations, your family life, like all of those things. You find where the differences are between the two of you, and then you close the gap slowly but surely. But that comes with highlighting what the gap is, and that only comes with, again, it's like a chain reaction, that only comes with actually sitting down and going through your life right now and where you like to be, and then slowly but surely, like I said, finding a way to close the gap for yourself. So that is that. rewriting the story. And also another really good way of doing this actually is listening audio tapes, listening to YouTube videos. There's apps as well, where you get to listen to the manifestations, and close your eyes and visualize, like, who do I want to be, the person that I want to become, this is what she does, this is how she walks, this is how she talks. So there are ways of retraining your subconscious level, your subconscious mind, on a very deep level. And a lot of the time that is with things like visualizing, manifestations, and prayer is a big one for me as well. Sitting down, praying and talking to God. I feel like I can really hear him when I stop talking, when I stop all of the internal dialogue that happens. And trust me, there's a lot going on in my brain. When I stop all of that and I just sit with him. And sometimes when I'm really, really distracted and my head feels heavy, it's difficult in the beginning. So please don't assume that you're going to sit down and then it's going to be like dead quiet, like you're going to hear white noise in your head and then everything's going to be perfect. That's just not how it works at all. So I'm sorry if you've ever had that mindset or that belief in your head that that's how it's going to be, because it ain't. It's not. Sorry. But let's move on. The last thing that I started to do, that I started to really focus on, was building self-trust. And I am currently in the process of this right now. I would say that it's a forever journey. Like, I don't think there's ever going to be a destination, but you'll definitely know when you've arrived to where you would like to be. And then the destination, the goal moves. Each time you get there, it kind of just hops along like this, which is beautiful, because you never want to get to one point and be stagnant, because then I feel like we're such creative beings that we just be like, okay, what's next? Like, I'm itching for a new chance, a new opportunity, a new goal. And I think it's amazing to always have something to aspire to. Ooh, kissing the mic. I think it's amazing to always have something to aspire to, as long as you don't get too attached to the goal, but you're more attached to the mission and the actual journey itself and the growth that happens within that journey. But anyway, completely went on a tangent there. Back to where I was going. Where was I going with this? Now remember, start to build self-trust. Right, so let's just talk about this for a second. Self-trust is essentially your trust, right? The drive to say that I can do X, I believe that this is possible, I know I can do whatever it is, the job, the family, the raising the family, tackling that new task at work, taking on that new career role, heading up the finances for my family, whether this is for men or for women, like whatever that is. Having self-trust is so important, you guys. I feel like this is really, really, really overlooked, and this was never taught in school, and it needs to be. Okay, I feel like we need to go over some really fundamental stuff in school before we even start talking about fucking Pythagoras theorem. No one cares. I haven't used it since, but you know what I do need to know about? I need to know how to fucking do taxes, but again, they don't need to do that, because anywho, indoctrination camps. Let's not get into that. But what should be taught at school is how to respect yourself, how to teach other people how to respect you, how to find your boundaries, self-love, self-worth, and self-trust, and a few others. But I think those are like the foundations for life, for being a functional human being who is able to contribute towards society. If you don't have self-trust, let's just put it like this: if you don't have self-trust, you have nothing. You have nothing. You are waiting for other people to carry you through life because you do not trust your ability to do it for yourself. And that's not like hyper independence. I don't need no man. I'm not subscribed to that. I want a man. I'm not a part of that. Sorry, babes. Right? Like, I'm not part of this, you know, I want to do it all by myself and that's completely separate. What we're talking about is trusting your ability to be a good mother, trusting your ability to be a good wife or a good husband, trusting your ability to get up and go to the gym when you say you're going to get up and go to the gym, trusting your ability to start that business, trusting your ability to run that team, trusting your ability to take on that new project at work, to say no to your boss when you don't want to do something, to say yes to that person over there, to write that book, to take that trip, to do that thing. Trusting, self-trust. If you do not have self-trust, you are like a newborn, in sense of like you are just fragile and you're waiting for other people to carry you through life, to fix everything for you, because you do not believe that you can do it for yourself. You need self-trust. You have to be able to trust that you can get shit done. Talking about struggling to believe in yourself, right? Let's just recap really quickly. Struggling to believe in yourself. So we're talking about, why is it so hard to believe in yourself? Again, this is linked with self-trust, right? So why is it that you do not believe that you can do the thing? Why is it that you are doubting your ability to get the thing done, whatever that is? Okay, so that is the first thing. Why is it so hard to believe in yourself? Ask yourself this question 1,000 times over, and honestly, just keep digging into it. Like, why? Answer the question. Why? Answer that question. Why? Answer that question, until you feel like you've really got to your earth's core. Okay, then rewriting the narrative. So who do you want to be? Who is the person that you would like to become in 5, 10, 15 years time? Write out that woman's life. What does her day look like? Her week look like? Her year look like? What does her relationships look like? Her finances, her friendships, family life. What does her health look like? Mental, physical, psychological, spiritual? What does every aspect of her life, what is her clothing? How does she dress? How does she carry herself? Are her shoulders back? Are they slightly curved? Does she look down when she walks? Or is her head held high? Like, get into detail of the woman that you would like to become. Then you're going to build self-trust. And the best way to start building self-trust is by doing the thing that you said you were going to do. For me, I've started building my self-trust the second I started doing the things I said I was going to do. For a long period of time, I would say, oh, I'm going to go to the gym today, and I wouldn't do it. And I'm like, oh, I just broke my promise to myself. Okay, I'm going to go to the gym tomorrow, and then I wouldn't do it. And it's like, oh, I'll go the next day. You're bit by bit chipping away, right, at your, what's the word I'm looking for? There's a phrase I'm looking for. Your honor roll of things that you have achieved, that things that you have done. So when the time comes and your boss says to you, I need you to take on this new project at work, and you know that this project will skyrocket your career in this business, right? And you want to say yes, but when you mentally look back at every single thing that is on your honor roll so far, right, you have let yourself down on everything. Of course you're going to say no. Like, it's a given. Of course you're going to be like, actually no, do you know what, I can't take on this role right now, I'm busy, the kids, oh, I have too much on my plate. You don't, babe. You play Minecraft half of your shift. Like, do you know what I mean? So it's like you're saying no, not because you don't feel like it will be good for you, or it crosses a boundary or anything like that. You're saying no because when you mentally roll through all the things that you've done in the past, so far literally so far, you've let yourself down with everything. You've said, I'm going to go to the gym, you didn't go to the gym. I'm going to do this thing for my friend, you didn't do that thing. I'm going to show up for this person, you didn't show up for this person. I'm going to lose all this weight, you didn't lose the weight. I'm going to eat healthier, you didn't eat healthier. I'm not going to have that chocolate, you had the chocolate. I'm not going to do this thing, you did the thing. So the amount of times where you've let yourself down, you are chipping away at your trust, which is your ability to say yes when you want to say yes, because you don't believe that you can get the thing done. So I'm going to leave it here, because I feel like I really dug into that one today. Deeper than I thought I was going to go. Anyway, I love you. I'll see you in the next video. Besitos.